this new bombshell was obtained by the New York Post. They got an early copy of the book. We're not at that level yet. We're not getting early copies of the book, but that's fine because I don't need a book to tell me that Joe Biden was in serious cognitive decline. I had eyes and ears like the rest of you. We could all see it for ourselves. Basically, going back to 2015, the man was not well. But in this new bombshell revelation, they talk about when Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, Miss Kamalamity, decided to really cut ties with Joe Biden. And this is when Joe Biden put on the Trump MAGA hat. Now, most of us remember this because it went super, super viral. He was meeting with voters and someone handed him a Trump hat, which he put on. He was laughing. He was joking. I did videos on this at the time. I thought even though Joe Biden is senile, he is doing this on purpose because it's a dig at Kamala Harris. He is not happy that his own party shanked him and threw him out like the garbage, even though they should have done it years prior. So he's having fun. Joe Biden's like, I give zero Fs anymore. I'm putting on a Trump hat. I said all along, as soon as they push Biden out, I'm like, Jill, Hunter, and Joe, they want Trump to win. Remember when Joe Biden was wearing the red suit to go vote? I thought that was very symbolic for a woman who's apparently into fashion, even though she looks like a streetwalker half the time. So I felt like the Bidens were dropping hints that they were happy Trump won. I think Biden was like, you know what? If it's not going to be me, it better be that other guy. It better be Trump. So no, when Joe Biden put on this Trump hat, Kamala Harris said she was really going to cut ties with him. We actually have a quote. She said, "What is he doing? This is completely unhelpful and so unnecessary." Yeah, sweetheart, that's the point because y'all shanked him and threw him out like the garbage, okay? But you're not much better, Kamala. You are actually worse. What I find so funny about Kamala Harris, they want to talk about Joe Biden's cognitive decline and that his brain was basically mashed potatoes, but he could still form more coherent sentences than Kamala Harris herself. Kamala Harris sounded like a freaking drunk sailor half the time, like Popeye after a bender, trying to form sentences, and they all came out as disgusting word salads. You'd ask Kamala Harris, and she'd be like, well, we're unburdened by the burden of being burdened. What? Ma'am. And she wanted to be in charge of the nuclear codes. Thank God. Thank God. I thank God every day, you guys. There are a few things I do when I wake up in the morning. I go to the bathroom, number one, and then number two, I say a prayer. I say a prayer that in Butler, Pennsylvania on July 13th, President Trump turned his head at the right time by a few millimeters, a few centimeters. I don't know. I'm not a mathematician. But I am happy the man turned his head and we did not get stuck with cackling hyena Kamala Harris. Now, to circle back to the story, I just want to end by saying this. Everybody knew Kamala was trying to distance herself from Joe Biden because they stopped hosting events with Joe Biden. They stopped utilizing him on the campaign trail. They wanted nothing to do with him. But the issue with Kamala Harris is this. When she went on The View, they asked her, how are you different from Joe Biden? Sunny Hostin asked her, she sat right next to her and she said, how would you differentiate yourself from Joe Biden? Kamala Harris had absolutely no answer. She said, well, nothing really comes to mind. That was your opportunity, sweetheart. Every poll, the New York Times Siena poll, Quinnipiac, Emerson, every poll said, we want radical change. So when you're going on TV and saying you can't think of a single thing that differentiates you from Joe Biden, your president, sorry, sweetheart, that is when you really lost the election because President Trump looked like a change agent. People wanted a disruptor, and that's what they got. And that's what's happening now with Doge and all of these new people who are getting it done, getting criminals out of the country, handling the cost of eggs, inflation, housing, all of that. People wanted someone who could get it done. They did not see that with Kamala Harris. So Kamala, you can go cry me a river. Joe Biden is not the reason you lost the election. It did not help that he called half the country garbage right before the election, but nonetheless, you lost the election all on your own. Booyah, bitch. Sorry, you lost all on your own.